Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. You're going to have to help me with this one.
Okay.
So it's called New York State of Mind.
Oh, okay.
So the photograph is one of the, I guess, the subways, outdoor train subways.
Above ground in Queens,
above ground.
facing
In
New York
Queens.
City with the city skyline behind the subway. Is that
How long ago was this? Because I think I can see the what's it called, the not the Chrysler Building, the Empire State Building.
Mm-hmm.
But is this post or before 9/11?
Oh, that's after 9/11, but
Yeah.
I'm sure, but it's over 10 years old, so I'm sure the
Okay.
skyline has changed considerably.
For sure.
Yeah, New York has so many buildings that are almost twice the size of the Chrysler Building now. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, on Billionaire Row, they have all these crazy, huge buildings.
So in the photographs, like 1/3 of it is sky with clouds. So it's beautifully composed. Whoever made the photo knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's afternoon lights, and there's like a train going across, and the shadows kind of really make that train pop. It's kind of greenish. There's the skyline in the background. It looks like it's fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fall. Yeah. Very observant.
Thank you. I'm using my eyes. Okay, so
Really? You're not looking at the photo with your feet?
yeah, there you go. So New York State of Mind, Jen, you're setting us up. What are you setting us up toward?
Oh, I'm just always nostalgic towards New York. Like,
okay.
New York. So I moved to New York right after university. I very much maintain that New York is where I became who I am.
Okay.
I lived at home when I went to York.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised quite sheltered, religious private schools, being carpooled. I lived outside of the city in an isolated area, so I couldn't even walk and take the bus. That just wasn't an option. So New York is where I was finally able to spread my wings. I was able to find my creative compatriots, other people like me that accepted me. So I went to a private school, and we were kind of groomed to all become doctors and lawyers and accountants and professionals. And it just wasn't for me. I knew that at the time. I knew that even before I was in high school. Like, I started writing quite young. So I knew that I just didn't fit in here. So New York represents a place that just accepts me as I am and values me as an artist.
Right.
And that's how I feel about New York. And then, all the other nostalgic, romantic things that we've all seen in the movies and stuff about New York City. And I've just had so many magical moments there. I try to spend as much time there as possible. Yeah.
Okay. Is that where you wrote?
So, okay. So my segueing to the book. So this
was that inelegant? Book. I don't know.
And we have the New York City skyline.
Okay, so you're holding up a book. It says
Year of the What?
Year of the What?
Yes. So after I lived in New York for several years, I had an opportunity to move to Los Angeles and get into film and television, and I wanted to give it a shot. And after about a year and a half of pounding the pavement and not really getting in any of the doors I was trying to get into, somebody suggested I write myself a one-woman show as a vehicle. And that one-woman show is now my best-selling and award-winning novel. The show was titled Year of the Slut. I workshopped it in LA. I did it in New York. I won an award for it there. And then I was encouraged to adapt it into a novel. The original title was censored. I had to change the title and then relaunch and rebrand. But it ended up being a wise decision, because just changing one word in the title allowed it to get the exposure that it deserved. And now it's had many accolades. It won the gold medal at the Global Book Awards for coming of age books. It won the
Oh, wow.
bronze medal at the Independent Publishing Awards for romance books,
Mm-hmm.
and several other awards I don't need to go into detail about, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been super exciting. So the book takes place in New York City
Nice.
because when I wrote it about, the play is about a naive girl from Canada who
Mm-hmm.
moves to New York and is kind of a fish out of water and is looking for love after her first major breakup.
Mm.
And it's her dating misadventures trying to find the one.
Right.
So yeah, so the book takes place in New York, and it's just such a special place in my heart, that city.
Oh. Year of the what? Formerly Year of the Slut. But
Mm-hmm.
is the play still seeing the light of day, or is that's
No,
okay?
it was a one woman show. I played 10 characters and it was fun at the time, but also lonely,
Mm.
because one of the things that's like one of my favorite things about being an actor is getting to play with other actors.
Right, right, right.
So I'm so grateful that I did it and I was able to prove to myself that I could play 10 completely different characters
Mm-hmm.
on one stage in an
Yeah.
hour and a half, that I could actually do a show for an hour and a half and the audience doesn't leave after 20 minutes
Amazing.
because it's terrible or boring. So I was able to really prove to myself that this is what I was meant to do with my
Right.
life. And even, because I did the show, I had been at it because I started performing as in university. I started taking acting classes, and it was almost a good 10 years before
Mm-hmm.
I did the show. And my parents like never got it. Like they were
Okay.
never behind me. They never were,
Uh,
they're like, just come home, go back to school, get your master's, get a real job, like, have stability in your life,
mm-hmm.
which are all good and fine and sound advice for a parent to give a child,
Sure.
unless the child knows that they are born to be a creative beast and
Yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
nothing that can restrain that. So, so the play, after I won the award for it in New York, I kind of felt like it's run its course
Yeah.
in terms of like, I just wasn't interested in doing it anymore. I proved to
Sure.
myself. My mom came to New York and saw it. She finally acknowledged, like, okay,
Mm.
now I get it. Now I
Ah,
understand.
okay.
Because
Okay.
she also, the fact that I played all these characters, I wrote it, I did
Mm-hmm.
everything myself. She finally, like, it was blatantly in front of
Yeah,
her,
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
your daughter has talent, as opposed to watching, like, other plays where I have some
Sure.
little bit role that's not a great production.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Because,
mm-hmm,
like I
mm-hmm.
said, it's not like you show up and people just give you
Give
work.
it to you. Yeah,
It's,
yeah, yeah.
you got to work your way up through the small roles and the mediocre productions to get to the almost good productions, then to get
Sure.
to the better productions. And,
Sure.
and if you're lucky and stick with it long enough, then you get to do some great productions.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
it's a long road. So yeah, so the play is not going on. The book is
Um, I'm just so excited about the idea of your training is about being on a stage and connecting with an audience that is in the room. And as you said earlier, like in theater versus a kind of a temple, it's live, and that's the kind of the jeopardy, right? Like,
yes. You don't
and
get a
so,
second take.
mhm. And how different that is from the writing process, which is
Mm.
you're by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually quite a lonely moment where at best you're neurotically creating characters that you're invested in. So do you feel like your transition from acting to writer is kind of, have you gone back to writing?
I've been bouncing back and forth. So I actually started writing when I was 8. I was in love with Zach Morris on Saved by the Bell. And I started writing like fan fiction scripts where like
Mm-hmm.
I got to go to Bayside and be his girlfriend. So so I started writing at a young age. knowing that writing would help me get to performance.
Okay.
It was so weird that at 8, and
Mm-hmm.
at 12, I was actually able to articulate.
Oh
At
wow.
12 years old, there was someone at summer camp who I told, my dream is to write my own movies and be in them. So
Mm-hmm.
even at 12, at this point in time, like you're middle school, like you have no agency, no autonomy in your life. But I knew
Yeah.
that I wanted to be an actor and that I wanted to be able to write the stories that I got to
Wow.
be in. Of course, as an actor, you want to be in everybody's stories. It's not just
Sure.
the ones that I write. It's like, yes, hire me, please.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be on a sitcom. I'd love to be on
Mm-hmm.
a drama. I'd love to be in the movies, like anything, because that's just the nature of the industry.
Sure.
But I also knew that there was going to be that other element that I was going to be writing scripts, whether they were for stage or for screen. And I wrote my first movie script when I was 12. I wrote my first official one because at this point in time, I've written 6 feature film scripts. But that first one that I wrote,
Wow.
I was 19 and I wrote it when I was going to York. And because I knew when I got to New York, I wanted to have like a feature film script with me.
That is like, yeah. Keep going.
Yeah. So the writing and the performance always kind of came in tandem. And this is part of why my head was always in the clouds when I was a child, because I would be daydreaming myself into these scripts and
Mm-hmm.
stories that I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to write. So I definitely flip-flop because the pandemic in the past few years, I have not had the opportunity to perform as much as I would
Sure.
like. I shot a little promo video in March for my friend's lifestyle brand. She designs these workout outfits.
Okay.
So
Does it
that
have a
hasn't
name?
aired yet. Oh
Oh.
yes, my friend Nita Marquez has this
Yeah.
amazing company called On the Mark.
On the mark.
So On the Mark jumpsuits are what you
Awesome.
can Google if any of you ladies out there want a one-piece workout jumpsuit that you don't have to completely take off in order to go to the bathroom. She's got this special
Oh.
pattern that you could just pull down the tush
Mm-hmm.
and go to the bathroom, as opposed to having to like take off the straps and pull
Right.
down the whole leotard, which is
Right.
the number one thing that deters women from wearing a one piece,
Sure.
because it gets a little troublesome. So we did a promo for that. That hasn't come out yet. And then I also shot a short film that I wrote a few years ago. A
Oh,
friend of
nice.
mine directed it and produced it in LA in August. He asked me a few years ago for like if there was a script that
Mm-hmm.
he could have, like something that I wrote that I don't necessarily
Mm.
need to be a part of. So I gave that to him, and it's a short little comedy, and we're just
Oh
in the
wow.
finishing touches. We're
Okay.
getting ready to send it to some film festivals.
Oh,
So it's not going to
nice.
air online. Basically, if you post your film online, that
Mm.
disqualifies it from getting into festivals.
Sure.
So it'll probably be a year or two before we'll post it online. We want to do some festivals first.
Nice. I hope that. Okay, so my daughter is 11,
Mm-hmm.
and she is extremely creatively oriented. Be it dance and singing and all
Wonderful.
this stuff. Yeah, for sure. And however she's made, I could totally see her express herself in a way that is fully aligned with how you speak. How do we connect your experience and, for example, your knowledge and the trials and the challenge of your life to a parent or to a person who recognize themselves in that? Like, how can we give them that little kernel of something that says, you just keep going, don't stop?
Yeah, I think you have to honor who your child is as opposed to who you wish them to be. I think there are a lot of parents out there, and definitely they have their child's best interest at heart. Like, I understand my parents were not deterring me from the entertainment business because they were being mean, but
Mm-hmm.
because it is a doozy of a
Yeah.
business.
It's really hard. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's hard to be successful, and even if you are successful, then there's the privacy factor, or the people, everyone wanting a piece of you, or scandals, because people are trying to ride your coattails, or
Yeah.
there's you're so exposed in that world. So I would definitely say you need to honor the individual that's in front of you, and every child, just like every human, is going to be an individual.
Hmm.
And I know we like to say, like, oh, well, she's only 8 or she's only 11, like she can change her mind 10 times. And it's like,
Sure.
yes, children can change their mind 10 times. But if they express an interest, nurture the interest
Yep.
until they're no longer interested.
Sure.
Like, my niece loved karate. She was really, really, really into karate. It was her thing. She was going 2-3 times a week. She was working her way up. I think she had like her purple belt. And then
Hmm.
the pandemic happened and it was interrupted. Her
Yeah.
lessons were interrupted. And she's not interested in going back to karate. She's interested in basketball now.
Okay.
And basketball is now her thing. And who knows that if it's because she's at an age where she wants to be more social and basketball is
Right.
where all her friends are. But that's the thing. I don't have children yet, but I see parents. It's like children go through stages. It's like they're totally, this is their sport, this is their thing, or like they're totally into Harry Potter, and then it like flips on a dime. They're not into it
Sure.
anymore. Now they're into this other thing. And so what?
Yep. I agree.
Nurture what they're doing as they're interested in it. And if they lose interest, they lose interest. And the thing is, it's like, at this stage of the game, it's a minimal investment, and even with extracurricular, most children, they're going to be in some sort of extracurricular thing at the time.
Hmm.
Does it matter that you spend X amount in karate and now it's basketball and not karate? No, because basketball costs money too. It's like
Sure.
you have a budget, you're spending X amount on extracurricular. It doesn't matter if they stay with the same sport until they become an expert level, or if they want to try 10 sports in 10 years. And how are they going to know what's for them unless they try them all?
Exactly. So, what kind of sport were you? Because I get that it's you're kind of a paradox in the sense that you are a creative. You definitely express yourself as, and I can hear things in terms of as a writer, or as a kind of as an actor, but also and as a performer. But there's also this side of you that's very strong in the sort of the physicality in the sports.
Yeah.
So what is, and I can see it on your face. So what was your sport, and what is your sport? Like, how are you in your body?
Yeah. So I was a competitive gymnast, and I
Ah,
was in competition. I was in provincials. So I was, going to provincial championships. I was in
wow.
provincials, I think, by the time I was like 8 years old.
Wow.
I was doing provincial competitions, 8 or 9, something like that. I started competing in first grade. I think I was 5 because my birthday's in September. So I think I might have
Wow.
been 5.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. It's on Monday.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah. So yeah, I was 5, barely 6 years old when I started gymnastics competitions.
Wow.
And gymnastics is unlike any other sport.
Brutal. Gymnastics is the acting of sports. I don't know what that
Yeah, no, it
means.
really is, because it's like you need to have everything
Yeah.
in order to master that sport. And that's the thing too. It's like you can take a gymnast and you can insert them into almost every sport and give them like a day or two, and they'll be
Hmm.
able to become proficient at it, just because of the level of strength, agility, adaptability, coordination,
Sure.
flexibility. It like translates. Meanwhile, you take a ballet dancer, you put her on a balance beam, doesn't mean she's going to be able to,
Sure. Sure. Sure.
or even.
We're gonna start a huge war between just like all these like gymnasts. Watch
Well,
out, the gymnasts are taking over. I love it.
Well, but the thing is, it's true, because we have the 4 apparatuses. So it's like you need to be so conditioned.
Yeah.
in order to be able to do it. Like the amount of upper body strength you need to be able to do the uneven bars. And what people don't understand if they're not in the sport is you can't compete on just one event. Only the Olympics have, a gold medal for the event. But you have to compete on all 4 events in order to do competition. So you have to be proficient at them all. So yeah, I was climbing out of my crib at 6 months old, and my mother just didn't know what to do with me and just like took me to because my mother's like, she's going to climb, she's going to do all these things anyways. I might as well put her in an environment where it's safe.
I love that consistency of training in gymnastics is comparable, and it like found a home on stage and found a home to be a writer, because to be like, this is like, you need that tenacity to keep going every day, keep,
and the discipline, and you're just up against yourself every day. Like it's a solo sport. So I definitely attribute my discipline, my confidence, my risk taking, because the type of risks you take when you're learning those new tricks, I attribute all of those things to my training as a gymnast. I think that was like a solid foundation, not just a physical foundation for me moving forward with my life, but all of the things that you have to face in terms of like
the hardships and for sure.
Yeah. And also like, when I was a kid, like I remember there was one competition where I didn't win a medal and I won a ribbon, and I threw the ribbon in the garbage, and my mother went and fished the ribbon. You know what I mean? Because, so like understanding and my own values of what's good enough and what's acceptable. And like, I didn't think a 5th place ribbon was even worth bringing home. Like I literally crumpled it up and threw it in the garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I might've been 10, and I'm like, what? Forget this, but also pushing myself to be better, pushing myself to be better all the time. And so it was a great foundation for sure.
Okay. Well, New York State of Mind, Jennifer Lieberman, I think we have so much material and we've covered so much ground. I just wonder, like, can you put this in a bouquet and put a bow on it and sum it all up, or do you think it's more messy? Like, how would you?
So I'd say, like, if you wanted to sum up my life and my achievements in one little sentence, nobody would let me in the door, so I went and built my own house.
Nice.
That's kind of how I feel about my career at this stage.
There we go. Jen, that's perfect.
Thanks.
Here, I'm giving you my elbow. There you go. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for all your patience. We made it. We got it done.
Yay. Thank you too.
You're
and
awesome.
Thank you for your patience. Seriously, the past month has been insane. Book events, Toronto Film Festival. Like I was running around TIFF like a chicken with my head cut off. So thank you for your patience and for not giving up on me.
Jen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ren.
These things always end in a really kind of awkward way.
I know.
I'll edit it. Don't
worry. Well, thank you so much, and keep me posted and stay in touch. And I look forward to the link when it's ready.
Yep.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.